Hello, and thank you for joining us on our journey of 1,000 pages. I'm your host, Anty, with my co-host, Christina.
Hello there! This month, we dove into paranormal romance, which, if you know what either one of those two words mean, you kind of get the idea. Some hallmarks of the genre include a relationship between a human and non-human character, usually a witch, vampire, werewolf, etc., so on. Sometimes they do have two supernatural beings in a romance together, but apparently the human and supernatural character is a common trope. They usually focus on the romance and end happily ever after, or happily for now, as one article put it. And they usually take place in a contemporary modern day setting.
I don't know how to transition. I'm sorry.
So this month, the paranormal romance that we selected is called The Undertaking of Hart and Mercy
by Megan Bannon. The Undertaking of Hart and Mercy follows Mercy Birdsall, the daughter of an undertaker who's doing everything she can to support her father's dying business, and Hart Ralston, a marshal on the Tannerian border tasked with slaying the undead that walk among us. So that's how the book's presented.
What makes this a paranormal romance?
That's a great question. I don't know.
I believe, going back to the definition, it's because Mercy is a human and Hart is a demigod.
Yeah, but there's no vampires. I wanted vampires.
Why did we select this one?
It seems tolerable. No, why did we pick this one?
Oh, I thought that was your genuine answer.
I do.
I think it's because when we were looking for paranormal romance, a lot of the ones that you were doing most of the digging for this category.
I was, yes. I was excited.
And a lot of the ones that you came up with and were really excited were just, 300 pages of smut.
Perfect. Brilliant.
So we wanted one that had a little more of a story.
Yeah. And I think one of the reasons we both picked it is the way this book is presented as kind of like a paranormal romance western.
Yes.
The cover is very much in that vibe.
Mm-hmm. And it's cute.
It's cute. Even that they're marshals on this border town and these kind of podunk border towns give a very western feeling to it. I personally would call this a romantasy because there's not much paranormal going on.
I mean, the more we got into it, yeah, I'd have to agree. I think for me, one of the selling points was I know I read it at the end of the last episode when we're like, next month. But there was somebody in the little recommendation comment review. What do you call it? All the little quotes from other authors going,
You mean the part we don't want on the back of our books?
Yeah. That there's one just talking about the mix of whimsy and macabre.
That's valid.
And that, for me, was a huge selling point.
I wish there was more macabre, but we can get into that later. So, like I said, we follow Hart and Mercy, the titular Hart and Mercy.
Yes.
And which is a very cute title. I do really enjoy the title.
And the cover is real cute, too.
Yeah. But it is this kind of... It is an enemies to lovers story. They start out as kind of hating each other at the beginning of the story. Then they fall madly in love because, of course, they do.
Yeah. I'm not going to lie. It's unclear why they're enemies.
Yeah, they're supposed to be enemies.
And they're not really enemies. It's just like the person in town that you snark at.
Yes.
And that's about the extent of the enemies. There's no stabbing or anything happening.
They call each other names, but they're not even like cutting names.
It's Merciless and Heartache.
Yes. Ugh, gross. Just kiss already.
I mean, I will say, to come up with really cute plays on your names as an insult, you're not selling me that you're enemies.
No.
A true enemy is not going to go, okay, so her name is Mercy, and what would be like a really cute kind of cutting insult and play on her first name?
Which is a benefit to the romance in this book. It is very cute watching them, their banter throughout this book. Yes, there is the vibe of just kiss already, which is part of the point. I get that.
It is building that enemies to lovers.
Yeah.
I do know specifically, you mentioned banter, and I know there was a point where you were laying on the couch reading this book as I was like headed out the door for something, and you just asked the question, has the author ever witnessed Friends?
Because like they don't insult each other. They're supposed to be enemies. We're supposed to be like they hate each other, but they're gonna smooch.
Which, I mean, maybe in their heads when they're talking about the other person, they sit there and they say that stuff of like, oh, I hate them and they're intolerable and they said da 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 and they're whatever, and then they talk about how hot they think the other person is.
Yes.
So.
Despite me being annoyed at the not enemies to lovers romance, it is very cute. This romance does about, I want to say like a third of the way through the book is when the letters kind of start.
Yes.
Or is it sooner?
It's a you've got mail premise in there, which I've never seen that movie, but I understand the premise of, you know, the anonymous pen pal. So
Hart, as he's out in this Tanrian wilderness, writes letters, and there's something he's done since he was a kid. He writes these letters to, simply addressed to your friend or something like that. What is it?
It's not since he was a kid.
It's not?
No. He has written letters, but I think it was like to his mom or something. This was his first time of like writing just to a friend because he was so sad and alone.
Sure. Was it the first time? I thought he did that and was like, ooh, I never get a response, but I do it anyways. Or he did it as a kid. I don't know. I might be completely wrong.
One of us has poor reading comprehension on
this
specific
hold on.
So either way, he sends a letter signed a friend. He's opens with I'm lonely, basically.
Yeah, essentially.
And then just starts talking.
Yeah. And the mail is delivered by magical little animal critters, which, yeah, they're fine. They're these side characters. They banter with them.
We never know why they're called, what is it, the Nimculum or something?
Nimmelkim.
Yeah. Why are they called that? Reason. We don't know.
Which, much like a lot of the names in this, we are never given a reason for any of the fantasy names. Why are the days of the week named they are? Who knows? They're just replacements for Wednesday. It's fine.
It's okay. But yes, so he sends a letter. It ends up with Mercy. They start as pen pals.
Anonymous pen pals.
And they get along swimmingly, and their letters are super cute, and I loved them.
I did. I'm glad you loved it. I'm glad. I'm not gonna just on the book.
They were adorable. They were talking about things like their favorite color, and I like coffee, and you like tea, and why, and and then they start sharing more about their lives and their hopes and their dreams with this anonymous pen pal. Meanwhile, they're hating each other in real life, or saying that they hate each other in real life.
If they would have hated each other more, if they would have committed more to the hating each other, I would have liked it more. Because there would have been a bigger gap between the letters and the banter between them.
It's hard to sell the enemies part of it when every time they interact, whoever's head we're in is like, oh, you know, he's so insufferable with his stupid hat and his like super tall, lanky, hot body. And you're just like, okay, someone is in denial.
They're very thirsty for each other. Very much so. So yeah, obviously, eventually, you know, they get it on, as they say. There is a point where essentially comes to a head when they decide to meet in person. Hart goes in and is mean to her, kind of. He's kind of a dick.
He is kind of a dick.
Like, for no reason.
And obviously does not tell her that he is the anonymous pen pal.
And then some other stuff happens. They boing.
I love your summary of the
because nothing matters between there's like 3 chapters between that and then boinging, and those chapters don't matter. Nothing happens.
They dance at a party, and then they hide in the garden together. That's things. Those are things.
I do. Yes, that is true. Those
she is almost killed by one of the undead wandering into town, and then he saves her life and like touches her face and is like, "Are you okay?" And she's so flustered. And
I'm sorry, I'm gonna get it. You need to praise this book because I'm gonna get into it in the next section.
what? It's cute. Those are lead ups. Those are lead ups. And she invites him over for cake, and then they get it on. See, there's other things.
That is fair. There is a build up to it. I am being too harsh on the romance.
This is the first time that I do not read romance. I've said that probably a million times. I've read a handful. And in other romance novels, I have always skimmed past the sex scenes because they are annoying. And I just want them to be done so I can get back to the cool story. Cough, cough, Outlander, I'm looking at you.
I did enjoy. There were times she would just get really annoyed in bed because she got to a sex scene in Outlander.
It's so annoying. Like, I'm not there for the relationship. I'm there for the cool setting. Anyway, I thought they had really good sexy scenes.
Sure.
In this.
I kind of skimmed them over, I won't lie. I was ready to be done.
Well, I thought they were great.
Isn't there only like one?
There's more than that. There's one that like goes into more play-by-play, and then the rest are more a paragraph.
That's fair.
I don't know how to talk about this anymore without getting more graphic, so I'm just going to move on and say it was nice.
Sure, we don't have to get into it. Yeah, I skimmed past it. I also do not read a lot of romance, obviously. I feel like we both have expressed this many times. I'm not a huge fan of smut. I've tried some just basically pure smut books before. They're fine. I get it. I get why people are into it. Not my thing.
There need to be vampires?
Yeah. Okay. Give me vampires. Part of my struggle with paranormal romance, and specifically the smut side of it.
Yes.
And something I appreciate about this book does not have rapey vibes.
I think that's part of the why I liked the sex scenes, is because it is one of the first times reading sex scenes that are not either A, wildly unrealistic,
sure,
fourth wing, or the rapey vibes, Outlander.
There's also I've seen this in things where basically the woman can heal anything through the power of her vagina.
Yeah, that's a trope.
It's weird. This book doesn't have that, thank God.
You're like, that trope there?
Yes.
That's in other things. This book does not.
I do think these are better sex scenes than some in just the, like, purely smut kind of, and the purely erotica I've read. Because I think there is more romance to these sex scenes than a lot of other ones that I've seen.
And consent is key.
Yes. Consent is hot.
So yeah, if you're looking for a really cute romance with good sex scenes.
Can I talk about the world? Wait.
Yeah, you can talk about the world.
Okay, cool. I don't know how to transition. We've made that clear. I don't know how to make the jump between these two topics at all. There's not one.
Well, the transition here is we just talked about some positive aspects of this book, and you're about to eviscerate it.
Yes, I am. Because I'm a fantasy boy. I like my fantasies. I like my world building. I like my 3 pages about how the currency breakdowns.
It breakdances.
Yes, I like knowing how the currency pops and locks and shove-its and McTwists.
Are you just saying words?
360 no scope. This takes place, like we said, this is more of a romancy. This is more of a fantasy world. The kind of paranormal vibe, like with the monsters, is yes, they're undead monsters in this, and it's related to souls. But other than that, it's not hugely paranormal. It's more just straight fantasy, where there's like these old gods who have been shoved out by these new gods, and we're not given a lot of detail on that.
We are given like 2 pages of info dumping about how.
Not really. Okay, I don't think so. And and there's such generic god names too. It's frustrating. Put a little extra effort into it. This is this kind of fantasy light that I really don't enjoy, where it feels like the story is not taking place in this world. The world is coming into existence around the story. Where, yes, there's these fantasy aspects of it, but they only exist to do whatever is needed of the plot at that moment.
That's a really good way of explaining it. In my head, yeah, it's basically these characters exist and the world only exists 3 feet out from the characters.
Right.
Wherever they go is in color and things develop or are added in, and you're like, oh, so they have cars and they have horses, but they don't call them horses. They have an extra fun name for them, but it's horses.
Just call them horses. Just
don't call them, what is it? Equimares and autoducks.
Yeah.
Just call it a truck. It's a truck and a horse. It's fine.
Or I would have even take like motorized wagon or something like that. I'd be okay with that. Y'all know what a wagon is.
There were so many instances of exactly that where I was taken out of the world because either something was unclear or there was something super modern. Like, for instance, there's a scene where they go to basically a town, like Founders Day dance kind of thing. And someone hands Mercy a paper plate full of food. And I just was immediately yanked out and go, hold on.
Yep.
We are in both we're in a fantasy Western world. And you have paper plates. And that just spun me off in a whole, like, why do you have paper plates in this world? And who manufactures paper plates? And, like, what's the origin of paper plates in this specific setting? Because it doesn't make sense.
Sure.
And that's an example of, you didn't think this through. You renamed things that didn't need to be renamed just to make it sound fantasy and interesting.
Sure.
And then just added random things. But also, they don't have phones. They have radios, but it's like a hand crank radio.
Right.
But they have cars.
Yes.
I just don't understand.
It is a confusing time period of when it's kind of supposed to be. Because a lot of fantasies, like even paranormal fantasies, have a generalized, okay, either it's more modern or more gothic, but it typically takes place. You should know what time period you exist in.
For instance, in The Lies of Locke Lamora, it's very clear that the inspiration is 1600s, Renaissance, Italy, Venice. Like, that's the vibe.
Right.
And it is consistent throughout the story, even if there are fantastical, magical elements. You can still read that and go, oh, this is like Renaissance Venice.
Right.
With magic and fantasy elements thrown in.
Sure.
Versus this one was just a hodgepodge of, you just threw in random things that worked for the plot.
Like we said, there's this whole old gods, new gods thing, which isn't really thought out that much. Even the threat of the creatures themselves. So they're called dredges.
Drudges.
Drudges.
With a U.
That's right. And how they exist, how they come to be is basically the soul of a dead person goes, when it cannot find its way to the whatever afterlife it is, it finds its way into the appendix of another creature that is like just died.
Yes.
And then possesses it.
Yes.
And then moves like a zombie and is basically a zombie. It's a zombie.
Yeah. And it bites people and stuff.
It bites people. They're not a threat. They're not dangerous. And they try to make it sound like they're dangerous, but none of the action scenes feel like they have any speed or momentum to them. And I think that really, really terminates the threat of these creatures.
I think there's like 1 or 2 scenes where they're overwhelmed by a mob of them.
Right.
Which that's a little scary, but you could say that's just people and I'd be scared. Because, I mean, you have 100+ people coming after you. That's a lot of people that can do damage, even if they can't move that fast.
Also, going back to the point you made about how sometimes things are very unclear. Both of us were constantly complaining that we wanted a map in this book.
Because even just the names of things, like, okay, he's going to Tanria, which sounds like your typical European-inspired name. But then she lives in Bushong, which now has us both going, okay, wait, is there an Asian element here as well? And how does that fit in? And it's not explained. There's no map.
There's not a map. And you learn later in the book that Tanria is like a small little circle inside of Bushong.
But there's also islands and that are easily accessible, because at
Yes.
one point he gets in his like a boat and goes an hour away to an island.
Which is strange because isn't Bushong like a desert kind of thing?
This is why we are confused. This is why.
Yes. The world building frustrates me so much.
I think the way I described this, I know you said fantasy light,
Yes.
but this is the LaCroix of fantasy.
It really is. I love it.
It's hint of dragons.
It's such a good way to describe it. It makes me so happy. It's not just this book. There's a lot of, I've read started fantasies that have done this exact thing, and
yeah.
it's made me stop reading them before.
It has, or if it's too tropey
Yeah.
right off the bat.
And if you don't know what a trope is, hey, go listen to our bonus episode, Campfire Stories, where we talked about tropes for like 45 minutes. Before we get to the end, we should cover probably some of the B plots that have been happening.
Oh, yeah. So, let's see. Birdsall and Son is the name of the undertaking business that Mercy's father had, with the intention that her younger brother Zeddy, who is supposed to have been in university studying, would be coming back to take over the business.
Yep.
He comes back, and lo and behold, it is revealed that he has not been studying undertaking at college. He's been studying philosophy.
Yes.
And his greatest dream is to become a chef. And he is truly horrified,
Yes.
sickened by all things undertaking.
Yeah, he does not do well with dead bodies, and he vomits. And then he bakes, and it's all better. I liked Zeddy.
Yeah, he was great. Speaking of Zeddy, so over the course of this book, the, I guess, B-plot romance is between Zeddy and Hart's new partner, which is this young kid named Penn Duckers. And so the two of them have a romance that is going on in the background.
Penn Duckers and Zeddy.
And Zeddy.
Not Penn and Hart.
Yes, Penn Duckers and Zeddy have a romance that's going on in the background.
And by a romance, we mean every few pages they let us know that they boinged.
And that they're constantly writing letters and making out at every opportunity.
Every opportunity.
Meanwhile, Mercy's sister and brother-in-law have been running the delivery portion of the undertaking business.
What are they delivering? Great question. It's not boats and people.
And wood and things.
Oh,
I don't know. They deliver and pick up stuff. And turns out that her sister is pregnant, and that's going to upset that whole piece of the business as well. And there's another undertaking corporation, basically, Nick, called Cunningham's, that has been buying out the independent mom and pop undertaking businesses and maybe up to nefarious, no good things.
But lo and behold, 2 pages later, they solve all these problems.
I know something that you pointed out that was very frustrating was the fact that, yes, there were underlying problems that would go on for a long time. For instance, the threat of Cunningham wanting to buy them out.
That's probably the biggest example I could think of. That's the one that frustrated me the most.
But the minute that they actually decide to do something about it, it's solved a chapter later.
Yeah.
Because turns out, what? He was up to no good.
Yes.
And then law enforcement gets involved, and that's the end.
That's the end. Meanwhile, on Hart's side of things, he is mentoring this young marshal, or marshal recruit. I guess he is a marshal.
He's a marshal. They're partners.
And he is trying to guide this kid along to basically kind of atone for his own past guilt at losing his mentor. Yes, his mentor, which ends with him going on a suicide mission to find... Oh, by the way, the whole thing with the souls, only Hart can see the souls, so only he knows that part about drudges.
That's his special demigod power.
Yes, he sees dead people.
But that's a secret that he doesn't tell people because they'd think it's weird.
Even though he's a demigod with powers. I'm sorry! I up! I said some spoilers without giving a warning first, so here I am from the future. Stop listening if you don't want to be spoiled. Anyways, not only is he the only person that can see these spirits, but he's the only person that can see a house in the middle of a field.
In Tanria.
In Tanria, where all the other dredges come from or hang out.
They hang out around the house, yeah.
So he goes on a suicide mission, kills himself in front of this house so he can get through the door that only he can see. And turns out his dad's there. His deadbeat dad who abandoned him is the god of the dead.
Ooh.
Who could have seen it coming?
And that's where we learn that his true demigod superpower is that he has 2 lives. It's not that he's immortal, because that's one of the questions, is him going, like, throughout the book being like, am I mortal or immortal? I don't know. And then he dies, and then has this little chat with his real dad, and then finds out that that's his other superpower, is that he actually has 2 lives. And meanwhile, his body has been collected and delivered to Mercy, and she's losing it. And it's real sad. I cried.
I'm not saying anything to invalidate your feelings. I don't understand why, but that's okay.
Because it was sad.
How did you... no.
She was sad.
But he was going to come back. He was obviously going to come back.
But she cried.
So
I cried.
You're a sympathetic crier.
Yes, it's true. She's sobbing, trying to prepare the body of the man she loved for burial.
The man she loved for like 15 minutes.
No, like they were together for like 3 weeks. 3 whole weeks. And then they had a fight because he hadn't told her that he was her anonymous pen pal. And so they had a whole fight where she was like, I never want to see you again. And that's what prompted him going on a suicide mission where he's like, well, I'm going to take this literally and not try and, resolve this at all. And I'm going to go on this suicide mission where if I can't have Mercy in my life, I guess I'll just find out once and for all if I'm mortal or immortal. And I'll just save the world while I do that. And then he dies.
He does die. But he comes back. It's okay. He comes back.
He does. He comes back. It all ends happily ever after. They're together. Mm-hmm. Zeddy and Penn are together. They've figured out how to save the family business.
Yes.
They got Cunningham to go away.
He got arrested.
Oh, and Hart has also patched things up with his former best friend and her wife.
Yes.
So it's all just one big happy family.
And also he has a new job.
Oh, and he has a new job.
Just falls in his lap.
Yes, he has a new job that is better and allows him to be around Mercy all the time. And he has a new puppy.
Oh, yeah, he was sad about his puppy.
Yeah, he had a dog that died. And so, yeah. So, spoilers.
This might seem like we explained this very choppily. I feel like we explained this exactly how the book presents it.
It's very fast. It's a very fast wrap-up where it's like, and everybody gets everything that they ever wanted, and everybody lives happily ever after in one big family. Yay!
Do you have any final thoughts, anything else about the book specifically you wanted to talk about?
I just want to say that I enjoyed this a lot more than I thought I was going to.
Sure. I would say it's not a bad romance. I admit my distaste of this is probably because this is not my genre. But if I was somebody who really enjoyed romances, I think I would enjoy this book. Yes.
And as someone who doesn't, I did enjoy it once. As long as I could keep the world building questions at bay, I did enjoy the romance.
Sure.
You just can't think about it too much.
Exactly. Speaking of transitions, why should you read this book?
Well, like I just said, if you want a cute, relatively low-stakes romance, hey, The Undertaking of Hart and Mercy. It's perfect for that.
If you love a relationship between Mr. Grumpy Pants and Miss Sunshine, Hart is a curmudgeon, which I do enjoy that about him. Mm-hmm. And it is, as always, very cute to see the banter between those two kinds of personalities.
It's true. Hence you listening to this podcast.
What do you mean?
Just saying. There's some parallels.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Last but not least, you should read this book if you like a romance that has been sitting on the shelf next to fantasy books all day. Like I said, again, the LaCroix of fantasy.
Yes. While that is not my favorite thing in a book, I do recognize sometimes that's what you're looking for. A book, you don't want 5 pages on how the Pantheon works.
Or you don't want to spend the first 50 to 75 pages of a book going, what's happening? Who are any of these people? What is this world? I don't know how anything works.
Yeah.
If you don't like that experience, or you just want something that is lighter and gets you straight into the story, here you go.
Absolutely. And on the other side, you shouldn't read this book if you want cohesive and in-depth world building. We've said it. You get it at this point.
Yes. Same thing. I won't belabor this point, but you shouldn't read this book if you want actual enemies to lovers. Again, there is no fighting, really, or stabbing, or any real hatred. They just took a dislike to each other.
And lastly, you should not read this book if you want a paranormal romance. It is romantasy. I cannot rightfully say we actually nailed the genre on this one.
He's a demigod in name only.
It is.
It doesn't really come into play until the end.
And the only reason I say that is because it is presented as paranormal romance, when that is, we were looking at paranormal romances, and that's how we got this book.
Yes.
But unfortunately, it's not. I think that's just false advertising. Not false. That's rude. Misleading. I think it's the consent. How this book is described and marketed is a bit misleading. All right, finally, do you have any shinies you've picked up on our journey?
Yeah, so I am not done with this, but I am reading a collection of poetry and short essays called A Rebellion of Care. It's by David Gate, who I literally about 20 minutes ago found out is famous on Instagram for his poetry.
Nice.
And this is his first collection that he has published. They are all pretty short poems, usually a paragraph or like one page.
Sure.
And I'm not a huge poetry person, but this isn't the type that rhymes. This is the type that makes you feel something. To give you an idea of what the themes are, it's basically a manifesto inviting readers to embrace their humanity and live a fully alive life in an age of social change, rampant individualism, and loneliness. He has a quote that saying something true in a world awash with lies is the first act of rebellion. It hits home.
Sure.
And I am enjoying it.
Oh,
so, A Rebellion of Care, highly recommend. What about you? What shinies have you picked up?
We went to go see Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die, which is a science fiction movie about Sam Rockwell going into a diner and recruiting six people to go fight against AI. He is from the future, and he is here to not destroy AI, but insert a safety chip into AI so that it becomes a good AI and not the
kind that destroys worlds and people?
Yes. Is it a good movie? No. Did I enjoy the movie? Yes. Do I think it is one of the better examples of cosmic horror that I have seen? Absolutely. I think it does nail that vibe. There's a lot of you are not quite sure what is real anymore.
It's very unsettling.
It is, which is exactly that vibe I really enjoy from cosmic horror. It is this is so far beyond my understanding of reality. We both said there's a lot of boomer stuff in there. There is a lot of, dang, these kids are always on their phones, aren't they? Some of the stuff it was saying I don't think is bad.
Yeah.
There is a lot of stuff about the cycle of social media and how how we are constantly advertised to and that kind of stuff. And I do think the message of the cat's out of the bag, AI is going to happen. True AI, not the learning models that we have, but true artificial intelligence is going to happen. So we have to make sure that it's a good one. It's going to happen. So please make it good. Make it a good boy.
I do think one of the things that you said last night that rang true for me was you mentioned how whoever wrote and created this movie, the fear is palpable.
It is, yes, it is a very scared movie. Even if I would not really classify it as horror. It's kind of a dark comedy is what I would mostly call it.
I was going to say it's presented as a dark comedy, but you can tell the creator, the writers, creators, whatever, they are running scared.
Absolutely. And understandably, I get why. I do not blame them for the emotions that come out of the movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, there is a bit too much. Dang, kids on their phones, aren't they?
But it was fun.
Yes.
Fun, but wildly unsettling at points.
You did not like it.
No.
I remember that.
And it was I think part of it was the unsettling nature of cosmic horror that I don't like things happening and going, oh, was that real? Was it not? We don't know. You have to figure it out. Oh, the only hint is like that one person just winked at you and that might mean that this whole thing is a lie now. I don't like that.
I will say the ending of it did bump it up a lot for me. I won't spoil anything, but I did really enjoy the ending. It's not like you can kind of tell it's coming a little bit, not crazy, but...
You're a lot better at predicting that stuff than I am. I did not see it coming. I was not surprised, but I did not see it coming.
It is not a surprising ending, but yeah, it is not something you're necessarily going to be like, oh, this is going to happen. What are we doing next month?
All right, so next month we're doing a comic book, guys.
Yeah. We are reading Moon Knight.
It's a collection. I've seen the Disney Plus show Moon Knight, and that is all I know about this character or this world or this story.
So I believe this is the one that the show is based off of. This is the run. So yes, we are reading Moon Knight. It is specifically the Lemire and Smallwood run, issues 1 through 14. From what I read when we were looking up comic books, this is one of the ones to read, one of the runs to read. If you don't know what Moon Knight is...
He gets his powers from a made-up Egyptian god. He has multiple personalities, basically, where he's, like, possessed by this Egyptian god, and he has superpowers and stuff. And this is... my description is killing you.
No, that's not... Because I love how you were just talking about how you don't like when you don't know what reality is as the reader or as the audience.
Yeah, I know, and now we're going into Moon Knight. Yeah. Guess who picked this book?
Yeah, you'll never guess, guys. Who could have done it?
But yeah, so apparently based on the little bit I have read, basically Moon Knight, Mark Spector, he wakes up in an insane asylum, long records of him having been there for a long time and calling into question, is he actually a superhero? Did he imagine it all? Is he insane? Join us next month to find out.
Yay!
Bye, guys.